Oh, I thought you meant the Valley song.
Oh no, our
It's
theme
all
song.
right.
No, I like our theme song better.
Way better than that. Which isn't stock, by the way. It's an actual artist.
I feel like we have new listeners now, so I just want to repeat that our theme song is by my friend Jake. His name is Jakey Heartbreak on Spotify, and he rocks. And he let us use his song for free.
So, fuck yeah, Jake.
Fuck yeah, Jake.
Fuck yeah.
Welcome to our Valley recap. This is The Valley, episode 10, Baby Moon Mayhem. And my name is Kate Riccio.
And my name is Stacey Abrams.
The fuck? That was a shock. That was a bit of a jump scare.
I just want to see what you would say if I did someone completely random.
That's a made-up name? Or is that a real person? Who is that? I'm not the brightest bulb. I'm going to Google.
This is so nice.
I know it's a real person.
I know that she's a politician.
Oh, yeah, I know who that is.
Wait, no, well, I'm curious now, her exact role.
She's a former Georgia state representative.
Very important. Okay.
No, that was funny.
Okay, my actual name is Carolyn Elizabeth Murdoch, and I am so excited to be here. We just talked about...
You act as if it's not your podcast. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor when you looked us up on YouTube. Here's the thing. We talked about in the other episode how we were on a different podcast called
Ready to be Petty.
And we did a deep dive on Lori Kay, who is the publicist to a ton of reality stars, including used to be both Jax and Brittany, now just Jax. And if you haven't done the deep dive, it's highly entertaining. You should go watch that episode, plugging for her. But also just to segue into this, fascinating to watch now that we've done that. And I am fully convinced that he has been cheating on Brittany the entire time.
Why?
Look, the way that Jax was so uncannily upset with Brittany's non-drinking really made it look like he was trying to think of some excuse to get out of the relationship. He's just pulled it out of nowhere. And I believe that Brittany can drink. We've seen her drink throughout the years. And she might get sick on alcohol. Hey, when you get older, it is harder to drink, friends. Oh my God. I used to be able to drink like her. I couldn't drink like her anymore because I would have a 3-day hangover. I couldn't do it. But Jax being so crazy about it when everyone was telling him she didn't even drink at all makes me think that he was looking for a way out. And I just looking at it through the lens of, oh, he's out. He's already been fucking people.
You want to know what's crazy? I actually have a complete opposing view.
Really? I love this. Okay, now you go.
That doesn't mean I disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think you're right. That's obviously she's looking for fights. He will fight with her about anything, literally. Yeah. But we saw on Vanderpump Rules her go to a doctor, and the doctor say your stomach lining's all fucked up or whatever. Do not take shots. And then that night went to a bar. I think she went to Tom Tom and continued to take shots. So I could understand Jax's point. Okay. I could see his frustration. If she really,
I forgot about that.
If she really does, I can't believe I remembered it. But if she really does get sick every single time she drinks, I would be over it if that was my husband or boyfriend. I'd be like, you literally have a drinking problem. Every time alcohol touches you, you get physically ill, but you can't not drink. And he's probably just tired of taking care of her. Now, with all of that being said, I think that everything Jax has done on this show to her face and behind her back is the most gaslighty behavior I've ever seen in my life. And to watch it happen in real time, him talking shit about her in the kitchen, talking shit about her, then immediately going into the room being like, I was just asking questions. Why are you being crazy? I was just asking questions. Does he not know that he is on camera and mic'd up?
Well, and also, does he not know who the fuck he is? I mean, for him to say he's been dealing with this drinking for 9 years. We've watched Jax's alcohol intake for the past 9 years too, and it's not been a pretty thing, and he doesn't make the best decisions when he's intoxicated. He's not making a good decision at the moment he's saying, I've dealt with this for 9 years, because he's saying that like against his wife in front of a room full of people.
Right.
Like, because he's drunk and he says he had, 2 bottles of tequila?
Right. He does seem like first of all, he's a little terrifying. Like, he does seem like the type that, like, you know how people will pick fights when they're drunk and they're like, I'm not even drunk.
Yeah.
It's like, that was that. Like, I've definitely gotten in fights.
But it was the opposite of that, because he was like, I am drunk, but I'm looking
No, but
normal.
that's what but he wasn't being normal, because the way that he was fighting with her was because he was drunk.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a weird, like, ironic thing for him to do and say when he's fucking on 2 tequila bottles deep.
Dude, it's honestly, this whole episode to me was kind of like, let's watch these men kind of talk shit about their wives.
That scene where the 4 of them are talking felt like not the Last Supper. That isn't a good analogy. But it was hard to take notes because everyone was complaining about a different storyline. And they were all the storyline. And by storyline, I mean their wives. Like, everyone was like, Jax over there saying, hey, well, I don't want to have kids. And then Jesse's saying, well, I do want to have kids. And then Danny's saying, well, I don't feel like
my wife doesn't appreciate
me. And poor Jason there, like, on a baby moon for all this to be discussed. Like, fuck.
Right. It basically was, it's just like, fuck our wives. They've sucked since they've become moms.
Yeah.
They're so different now. It's like, yeah. They just gave birth to babies. Now, I mean, look, Jax and Brittany, Cruz is fucking 3 years old. Like, they blame shit on Cruz and being a mom and being a parent and whatever, but like, they have bigger issues that they're.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was very turned off by that conversation with all of the men, like, that they never get appreciation when women go through so much before, during, and after having a child. Like, sir, you can wake up at 3 a.m. to feed your fucking kid.
Well, and even the way Danny said this, and I knew something had to be coming for, like, Danny not to get, like, he's no longer the perfect picture edit that we thought. Like, not everyone loved what he was saying there. And especially the way he said it of, like, it's just so many him crying, being like, I don't sleep and I'm just putting kids on boobs.
Right.
Like,
well, you know what it probably is. I have 2 theories. One, maybe he doesn't have that many friends and he can't vent to Michelle about this because Michelle will just be like, fuck you. They're
my boobs.
They're on my boobs.
Yeah.
So, or not Michelle, Nia. God, I always confuse Danny, Jesse, Nia, Michelle.
The
I'm
Valley
so
Noob really
sorry.
is a grab bag of who you're going to say.
I'm so sorry. I know. I'm so sorry. But anyways,
they're new.
so he can't really, he probably feels like he doesn't have anyone to bitch to about this. This was maybe one of the first times he ever vented because he's trying to put on this persona that everything's fine. But my other theory that's probably just more accurate is that it's just a drunk cry. Like, these men, they've been drinking all day. When you're drinking all day in the sun, one person is going to cry. It's going to happen. I have been that person where I'm crying about things that I don't even really give a fuck about.
Why you're crying.
But it's just because I'm drunk. Like, sometimes you just cry.
Especially when you're drunk and sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And like you have nothing left in the tank, I think. But I mean, just the grossness of what Jesse was saying of they'll never appreciate you. You'll learn that. And for Danny to agree with that was really a disappointment.
To me, this is the type of conversation that the men in Congress were having right before they decided to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, it's literally like, yeah.
Like, all right, now let's get down to business.
Like,
the rights of their bodies. That's done now. That's done. You know what? This conversation reminds me, we got to take away all their rights, actually. If they're not going to appreciate us, then why should we appreciate them?
Then what are we? No.
And you know what? We're going to have to sign off on if they get a credit card from now on, too. And voting, if that's out the window. Voting?
It was like the Good Ole Boys Club, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it, Kate.
No. And then Jesse, yes, in this whole conversation, Jesse is like saying his little sob story in his confessional, and he's like, imagine not having your parents together. And he talks about that too. Like, I hate this sentiment of like, we don't divorce in my family. We don't divorce. Imagine
that's
not.
Also very Good Ole Boy behavior.
Right. Imagine not having your parents together. Like, dog, that's literally the reality for like half of the population.
Yeah.
My parents haven't been together since I was in 5th grade, and sure, it was like sad when it happened, but looking back, I would much rather have two parents, which they are. I like appreciate this so much about them. They stayed super tight and were very supportive and were always at things together. Like it was, they were just, to me, they are two good friends. That's how I view them. And I would rather have my parents be two good friends that stick around and can be in the same room for me than together and fucking hate each other and fight all the time.
Yeah.
I think his mindset on this is totally fucking backwards.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have a good track record with like being on the right side of things.
That's true.
Okay, can we talk a bit about Jesse and Michelle and Jax's conversation?
Yes. First of all, Michelle got 2 words out and Jesse's like, Jax, come here. And she's like, can I just fucking talk to you?
What is going on this episode? I feel like it was just nonsense from start to finish. Like, what have Jesse and Michelle agreed to before going on camera? What have they agreed to say? Who knows what? You can tell it's just a big game of we aren't all on the same page of what is going to happen on camera.
Yes, you're so right.
And now
like, I kind of forget what we agreed upon. What are we talking about?
We're gonna make everything really super vague. Jesse doesn't care, but then he asks her, like, were you sending sexy pictures? And he doesn't fucking care, but then he's on camera crying. That
like I feel like he knew he had to ask, but he really didn't care.
I feel like it felt like he knew the answer, or to me it felt like maybe they both know all of it.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Right? That's the thing. It's like one scene I'll think maybe yes, the other no. It's just all so convoluted. It makes it very hard as a viewer to like understand.
Yeah, because I still think we're being played.
Yeah.
Like this whole meta thing is still happening. Like they're lying to us.
Yeah. Especially like Michelle and Jesse.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I agree. I
don't know what's happening.
I do want to play a game with you.
Okay.
Let's guess which hot Hollywood celebrity that Michelle from the Valley was sending sexy photos to behind Jesse's back. Okay, so it's just...
Do we know who it was?
I don't think so. So
Okay.
maybe one of our guesses will be right. I'll go first. I think it was Steve Buscemi.
President Biden.
Oh, it could be Biden. Could be Max Boyens.
Oh my God, it probably is Max Boyens.
Could you imagine?
I could. Watch it be Jax himself.
It's Jax. All along it's Jax. It's Rob
Jax.
Valletta, only because she needed her TV hung in 7 minutes or less.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. What if it's a girl? It could be a girl.
It could be.
I love that idea.
Flavor Flav, maybe.
The Michelin Man. What if it's naughty? Who's someone that's really fucking old? Like Dick Van Dyke.
You know what's funny? You said the Michelin Man. I did originally have Ronald McDonald on my list. And I'm like, no, Ronald McDonald, no. We can have characters. It's Leonardo DiCaprio, but it's actually Tom Sandoval catfishing as Leonardo DiCaprio.
He would do such a good job at it. What if it's the kid from the I Like Turtles video? It could be, is all I'm saying.
Because he could be around this age.
And he's famous.
What about the apparently kid? Apparently. He could be of age.
I've seen him on TikTok. He's of age.
Wow.
He's past 18.
So basically what we're getting at here is it could be anyone or no one.
Or truly no one.
Or literally no one. It's probably no one.
Who do we actually think it is?
You know, here's the thing. I was too busy focused on my jokes. I didn't really think of a real answer.
I mean, is it just the Quentin Tarantino theory?
No, because this is like an actor.
Was it? They just said celebrity.
I think it is an actor, but not of like Brad Pitt fame, but maybe an actor of more like, I don't even know.
Flo from Progressive.
Yeah, like a commercial actor, like Jake from State Farm.
If it were Jake from State Farm, I would actually
or like
watch the show
Michael
forever.
Cera. Like just some corny ass dude. But I do think it's no one. I think it's no one. I think this is some made up fucking storyline. I think it's stupid. I think she was texting someone about real estate. I'm just over it. I'm over it. I don't even care because we're being lied to.
And it's like, I don't even know if we're being, yes, I'd call it lying to. I'd also just call it walked around.
Yeah.
Like we're just hovering.
We're walking in circles.
We're going in circles around, and like in the middle is the sun, but we're not talking about the sun. We're just going to keep kind of orbiting around it. theory of relativity. That actually has nothing to do with theory of relativity, so don't think that I mean that for you.
You know, I can smell something burning, and it's you trying to get that thought out. There's smoke coming out your ears.
Woo-woo.
I will say this is also going to be our question of the week because I had fun just kind of with that back and forth we just did of naming people.
Yeah.
So our question of the week, which will be on our Instagram at Girls Unscripted Pod.
Oh, that's so fun.
Is which celebrity do you think Michelle was sexting? I cannot wait to hear what people think. They're probably going to give real answers, but that's good because we didn't really have a real answer.
Yeah, we didn't have a real answer.
And maybe people have tea that we don't know about. So
True.
head to our Instagram, Girls Unscripted Pod, and answer that question. It's posted right now. Also in the episode, in the very beginning, when Jax is talking about Michelle, or talking to Michelle, he is always wearing some sort of branded black hat. And is he, I'm wondering if he's getting paid for these endorsements. Like in this conversation with Michelle, this is a big conversation. Like, you know, this is going to make TV. His hat is literally a picture of a yacht and it says Elite Yacht Management. So to me, I'm like, a brand must have been like, can you wear this hat, please?
Well, if so, I'll give him more credit. Or maybe that's his sweet, sweet publicist job.
Well, he had to get permission or else they would have blurted out, I think.
Oh, that's so true. Unless it's like one of those not real things.
Oh, maybe.
You know?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
There also is like a discussion later in the episode of Brittany being sick because she's actually sick of Jax. Like she's not actually like sick. Her like relationship is making her sick.
I'm sure her body is taking a physical toll from the amount of stress she's having to endure.
Yes, and I was going to say like that is a real thing. I remember like at the end of my shitty relationship that I talk about a lot on our Vanderpump episodes, my anxiety was so bad. And I was getting panic attacks like every week. And I was like, what's wrong with me? And then finally my ex moved out and I like was fine.
Totally
like my
fine.
body was having like a visceral reaction to the stress.
I had that. I'd like where like I couldn't eat. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if Brittany's like manifesting physical symptoms from all of this.
No, totally. And I also feel like this episode, Brittany's confessional specifically, made me even more positive that one of them knew that they were going to separate and they kind of saved it for the show.
Well, but the way Jax talked on the boat though was so vehemently
That they'll
against divorce.
Brittany knew.
But it was very good old boy behavior of like, especially if my theory is true that he was fucking other people at this point. If he's not having sex,
there's no way.
At first I was like, maybe there's not, but then I read all this Lori Kay stuff and I was like, oh, he totally did fuck her in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's been doing it the entire time. But I feel like more people would have come forward as well. So I'm not sure
I don't
what is
know.
up with all of that.
It's probably just hard to fight against it. People probably just give up.
Give up for what?
Like, to try to, like, out him for cheating. It's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, you're just a piece of shit.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't think that I would say this, but we are now on the 10th episode of The Valley, and I kind of fuck with Zach.
Okay.
I think he's real.
Go on.
I think he's funny. I liked when he walked in and was like, this isn't a spa day. This is a shit talking day. I thought it was funny that he posted that Big Bear thing because it was so petty, but so simple and so good.
Yeah.
Like he knew how to get to them. I mean, I wouldn't want to be friends with Zach. I don't think he'd be a good friend, but I like watching him.
Do I think Zach would be a good friend? I don't know. Evidence is still out for me on the good friend thing. He was very quiet during the whole Kristen situation.
He's not a good friend.
So maybe he's not. But I do agree he showed some flavor here, and I was there for it.
I also think Janet was just being like dramatic, even thinking that he was in Big Bear and like being afraid of that.
No,
and,
that was stupid.
And if Janet honestly thought that Zach was in Big Bear with Kristen, I'm sure the two of them, one or both of them, are one of the 60 fucking locations that Sheena Shea has on her phone.
Oh, that's
just text
true.
Sheena and just be like, hey, can you check this for me?
Yeah, where the fuck are they?
And I'm not a fan of Janet. I kind of was enjoying watching her, but she said in a podcast, and I had made a TikTok about this, something along the lines of, she claimed that, and I don't know if this is true or not, but she claimed that both Kristen and Zach, when she first announced was pregnant, wished that she would have a miscarriage. Did you hear this?
No.
Wished a miscarriage upon her and then wished that she would commit suicide because of it. Supposedly. Something like that. And then
Did they hate her that much?
And then Kristen responded and was like, I would literally never say this. It was like in a comment.
I hope she wouldn't say that.
And this is disgusting, blah, blah, blah. And then Janet responded and was like, I'm glad you think it's disgusting now. Like, yes, like Zach did say this stuff or whatever. But then Kristen was like, I was always supportive of you. I have text messages of you sending me the baby's heartbeat and me like being so excited. Like, I want a kid so bad. I suffered from a miscarriage. Like, why would I say that? So when I made this TikTok, I always love to look in the comments to just see where people are standing, and everyone is anti-Janet.
Well, she didn't look that great when she was doing the like, well, you're acting as if you're entitled to be at my baby shower, which, I mean, she kind of has a point, but also just came off very bitchy and like rude.
Well, she also said on this podcast that her and Zach also weren't friends. Like, they were friends back in the day, but they like lost touch and basically kind of like forced it to be on this show. So for him to like expect to be invited to this, but also like,
it's a show.
But he's still on the cast.
He's not on the show.
And you guys can't pretend to be fucking friends. That's enough. That's again, I feel like the Valley is just lying to us. It's like, we don't like each other, but we're going to pretend like we're friends on this show. But then I'm not going to invite you to the one group trip and make you look bad and then confuse everyone. Like,
yeah. Also, that group trip looked like hell. No one was having a good time.
No, it wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun at all. I was like, these people, I don't think would normally do this. Or if they would, I wouldn't put them on my list of people to watch them go to Big Bear.
But the house looked nice.
The house looked sick.
Yeah.
The house looked great.
I literally was watching it and thinking like, if my friends got their hands on this motherfucking house, it would be carnage.
Yeah, no, it would be burnt to the ground.
Ping pong balls flying everywhere. Like, it would just be crazy, but in a fun way. And people would love to watch it, which is why I would love to be on a show like Summer House or Winter House, just saying, if anybody's listening. It's another episode. I think we maybe have 2 left.
2 left. Oh, we didn't talk about the boat where Jesse was being fucking nuts. When Jesse goes into the, like, he attacks Jax, and pretty much out of nowhere, Jesse is like, I think you are in fight mode because I think you've been, like, trying to fight your whole life. Basically schooling Jax on marriage, and Jax goes back and be like, yours is on the fence too. Yeah. And it just like felt so out of pocket, like let out of nowhere for Jesse to just start like that. But he's done that so many times. I'm like, why is anyone friends with him? He's
unhinged. And I do think him and Jax are going to get in a huge fight. If not this season, it will be later on. Because, yeah, he is unhinged. And there can only be one unhinged man, and that's Jax's job.
That's very true.
I watched Watch What Happens Live last night.
Oh, I didn't.
You don't need to.
Who was it?
Michelle Buteau and Jesse from the Valley. He didn't really reveal anything, but something that was very interesting that he said was that he was in a trim spa commercial with Anna Nicole Smith back in the day.
Hilarious.
Do you remember that? Like, trim spa, baby?
Yes.
And there's tons of photos online. It led me down a rabbit hole of looking at all his old modeling photos. Hot.
I am a little surprised.
Cute, younger. Like,
okay.
If I saw him out, I'd be like, that guy's super cute.
Okay.
Kind of gave me like old Schwartz vibes. Like, just like a good looking guy.
Interesting.
But I think now that we know him, like, I think arguably Jesse is not a bad looking guy, but he's just got an awful personality, so he's ugly.
Like, and it makes me question Michelle a little bit. Like, you married that. I'm just saying, I don't know. Michelle is an enigma.
Well, then it's a sentiment of going back of people being like, don't date actors, don't date models.
Yeah.
And that's what she did.
No, that's what she did.
But hey, they're separated.
That's what she might do with Shia LaBeouf.
the man that she was texting.
Yeah.
Well, and her new boyfriend is like some finance dude.
Yeah,
or whatever.
which is great. Finance pros are.
Though he looks familiar to me. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like a guest star on 90210 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because this is Hollywood, baby. We've all been there. That's pretty much all I've got on this.
Yeah, it was very hard to even take notes because just every scene had, like, there wasn't really a clear storyline. I feel like the story producing is a little wonky this season of The Valley, and that's what's making it difficult for me to like really hop on board. But I do like mess, and it is giving mess.
It is giving mess. It's giving dysfunction.
Yeah.
It's giving divorce. I originally liked The Valley because I'm like, this is a great depiction of the middle, right? Not the young
Right.
party house shows and not the older housewives shows. But this episode just left a bad taste in my mouth. The way that the men were talking about the women,
Oh, so
everyone
bad.
fighting with each other, everyone hating each other. It just isn't. I don't love watching shows where no one gets along.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm watching. No, they're not having fun.
Yeah. Also, you know what I think is missing in this group? A funny guy.
It's a really good point.
Like
Where's the funny guy? Like
where's-
how James
like
Kennedy
a James
is kind of
Kennedy,
that.
you know? Like
Yeah.
I guess Jax is funny-ish,
No,
but like
he's
he
not.
plays a different role in the reality world. He's like the antagonist male. Like we need just the funny guy
Yeah.
or girl.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like they hoped that with Zach and Jan and
I could see that. And Zach, and you know,
Jasmine.
he's starting to get some.
yeah. They thought
Some momentum in that
Zach
area.
and Jasmine were gonna be like the voice of reason, the funny talking heads, blah blah. And
Yeah.
like they have been, but I don't want that to be the only purpose they serve.
Yeah,
So I guess we'll
True.
see.
if I can find out.
Again, head on over to our Instagram, Girls Unscripted Pod, for our question of the week this week, and be sure to like leave comments. We've been looking at the reviews and the comments, and I actually saw a comment recently that said like they liked our podcast because they take like viewers' suggestions seriously.
We sure as hell do.
So like let us know what you guys are thinking, and we will have kind of a different format when the valley ends, but we're not going anywhere. We are going to do this until our lips
We're
fall
gonna
off.
die on this couch.
Yes.
We're going to rot into
On
it.
this futon.
On this futon.
Bury me in this futon. But yeah, that's our show this week.
That's pretty much our show.
I hope if you listen to the Vanderpump episode, you'll know that we had to set up all the recording equipment by ourselves. So I hope this works.
I hope this fucking works, that you're listening to something that's coherent.
Yeah, we hope so. I'm Kate.
I'm Carolyn.
And we'll see you next week. We're going to be remote,
Love you so much. Yes, we'll be remote.
but I'll make sure to fix my mic because I saw a comment. Someone didn't like my mic
Why not?
because it was popping a lot. I was like,
Oh.
it was. They were right.
Wow.
They were right. Okay, anyways.
Okay,
Sorry. I'm
sorry.
getting distracted.
We gotta
okay,
go.
bye.